Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's a day game, the rubber game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. And welcome to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. The Cardinals have a couple of hot hitters at the top of their lineup. We'll start with the leadoff man. He was a hero last night. That's Matt Carpenter.
Well, normally your 1 and 2 guys set the table. Well, Matt Carpenter and Tommy Pham over the last few games have not only set the table, they picked up the check too at the same time, and picked up the check big time with the long ball. Matt Carpenter with a game winner last night on an 0-2 pitch from Dominguez, and Tommy Pham could have had a game-winning home run the night before in the 10th inning.
Right now he's riding a 13-game hitting streak overall. The average during the streak, 291, but he's really picked it up. The power numbers, the 3 home runs, and you love to see all the runs scored. He's in the top 5 of the National League in that department. Meanwhile, it'll be Jake Arrieta going today. The former Cub now with the Phillies, signed a big deal in the offseason. Got off to a good start, 5-2, but his last 3, he has been struggling just a bit. So, it's Jake Arrieta. It is Michael Wacha. 2 very good right-handers. The Phillies, the Cards, day baseball, and it's coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser, wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The Rocky statue here in Philly. And we're at Citizens Bank Park along with Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. It's day baseball after the Cardinals wrap up this series this afternoon. It's off to Milwaukee in an all-important 4-game series coming up. The Cardinals start play in the Central Division. 4 back of Milwaukee. Chicago just a half game out. Jake Arrieta in his career, 204 starts, 93 and 61. This year he's 8-5, or rather 5-5. And he's a guy that obviously can be one of the best when he's on. And we'll see if that's the case today.
I think everybody in and around baseball realized that Gabe Kapler, a guy who is infatuated with the metrics of the game. Well, Jake Arrieta, Danny, you mentioned the last 3 starts. He gave up 5 runs in each start. That's 15 runs over the last 3 starts. And he was public with some of the moves that Gabe Kapler was making, some of the shifts. So we'll keep that in mind when we watch Arrieta work to the Cardinals today.
Not a fan of some of those shifts.
No, he's not. And there are a lot of pitchers in that category.
Matt Carpenter to lead it off. A couple of home runs in this series. Tommy Pham, a home run in game 1. Then Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, Yadier Molina. Second consecutive start for Dexter Fowler. Greg Garcia at shortstop. Colton Wong at second base. The pitcher batting ninth, Michael Wacha. Well, Matt Carpenter, one of the hottest hitters right now in baseball, and they will shift on Carpenter, and that's really not a surprise. Just about everybody in baseball does.
Yeah.
He's 4 for 10 in the series, couple of home runs, driven in 4. And he put the Cardinals on top in the 9th inning last night in a tie ball game on an 0-2 pitch.
Sometimes when you're an experienced hitter, you get an 0-2 pitch right down the middle, and often you see they don't know what to do with it, because more often than not, those pitches have been wasted or missing in the dirt, up and in, stuff like that. Matt was ready for it and won the ball game for the Cardinals.
Here's a 0-1 pitch. And now it's 1-1, 87 degrees. Very warm day in the city of brotherly love. These two, Carpenter and Arrieta, very close teammates at TCU in each other's weddings. Arrieta is at the best of the matchup between the two.
Not as far as marriage is concerned.
It's always debatable in that category. The drive to success presented by Kia, the last 12 road games, and Carpenter hitting above 400. There's no sabermetrics in that category.
No.
Arrieta, some believed he would go back to Chicago. Instead, they went with Yu Darvish and let Arrieta go. And a leadoff walk for the Cardinals and Matt Carpenter. And defensively behind the right-hander, Hoskins in left, Herrera in center, and Nick Williams is in right. Around the Horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Franco, Kingery, Hernandez, and Santana, they're along the infield, and Alfaro is behind the plate. Pham, left side, gloved by Franco. Out at second, the turn not in time. Tremendous play by Franco. That's the second standout defensive play he's made in this series.
The first one he made in that first game, when he went to his right and ended up throwing the ball about 5 feet in foul territory. Tommy hits a rocket, picked by Franco. Pham too fast for it to be a double play. That's a fine play by the Philly third baseman.
In steps Jose Martinez. He's on the paternity list when the Cubs were in St. Louis this past weekend, and then rejoined the club on Monday. And Pham is back in safely. Tommy with 9 steals this year. He's been caught 6 times. Arrieta originally from Farmington, Missouri. And he struggled in Baltimore, and the Cubs looked at him as a reclamation project. He went back to what made him successful, what got him to the big leagues. Unique delivery.
Throwing across his body.
And boy, did it pay off.
Man.
And the ball gets away from the first baseman, Santana, and Pham advancing to second, so the Cardinals have a man in scoring position.
And that's the one thing you can run off Arrieta. Tommy Pham taking a chance. And this throw in the dirt. Santana giving chase. So a throwing error by Jake Arrieta. That is one of the weaknesses of his game.
One-0 pitch to Martinez, taken high. Jake Arrieta won a Cy Young, couple of no-hitters while with the Cubs. Threw one against the Dodgers, another against Cincinnati. And the 2-0 pitch.
I guess what we should do is explain that throwing across your body. For a right-handed pitcher, it's when the left foot doesn't end up straight toward the hitter, but the toes are pointed like between third and home, closer to home. So there's deception in that delivery, but often that deception causes arm problems, particularly in the back shoulder. You can almost picture that.
Falls behind on Martinez, 3-1.
Yeah, you don't clear the front side, and that's what Jake Arrieta has gone back to. You can see the toes pointed about a third of the way down the third base line.
Full count. Arrieta was signed by the Phillies about midway through spring. You always think about a dead arm stage for those in spring training for a pitcher, and he got off to obviously a later start than most. Wonder if that has hit him here recently. And a strikeout of Martinez.
Now you think of Greg Holland, who had a similar experience signing late with the Cardinals. Actually, the season had begun. The Cardinals had opened their season in New York against the Mets. Greg Holland was signed, and everybody very happy about that. Had a good performance last night. His first performance, a 3-up, 3-down inning, and his first performance since May 26th.
So 2 outs and a runner at second base. Marcell Ozuna. Big gap in left center. Ozuna hits it sharply to second, taken there by Cesar Hernandez, so no damage done. Arrieta, a scoreless top of the first. Michael Wacha coming up for St. Louis. Had a bumpy start last time out, looks to get back on track. It's Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. today. Last Friday matched the worst start of his career. 4 innings, 8 earned against the Chicago Cubs. Overall, though, his year has been very good, and he might be an all-star this season.
That's right. That includes that 10-2 record, includes a 8 in a row winning, but last Friday, to me, his worst start of his career.
Gabe Kapler's lineup: Cesar Hernandez, Rhys Hoskins, Odubel Herrera, Carlos Santana, Scott Kingery, Nick Williams, Maikel Franco, Jorge Alfaro, and Jake Arrieta. Like on the lineups, we put the OPS, and that's something that is very, very important, and certainly something that most front offices, I shouldn't say most, all really pay attention to, maybe even more so than average. On base plus slugging.
Sure.
Hernandez to Martinez, steps on the bag for the out. So Hernandez, the first out. The Cardinals defensively with Ozuna, Pham, and Fowler in the outfield. On the infield, Carpenter and Garcia on the left side. Wong and Martinez on the right. Yadier Molina behind the plate. Around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Rhys Hoskins in the 8th inning last night against Jordan Hicks picked up a double that scored 2, and he's 3 for 9 in the series. That tied the game up, and then Carpenter won it for St. Louis. And a strike.
That from a catcher's perspective, you want to know what a hitter's doing now, and Rhys Hoskins is a lot different now than the first time the Cardinals saw him play.
Breaks his bat. Garcia chasing after it, won't get there. And a base hit into shallow left.
What do the players say? That bat died a hero.
Yep.
Right in on the hands by Waka. That's one of the strange things about Michael. He does not have that fastball that comes into right-handed batters. Consequently, very few right-handers break bats against Michael. Left-handers will do it on the changeup, getting out in front, hit it off the end of the bat. But not right-handers too often.
Here's Herrera. He is homered in 3 straight.
I'd bunt here.
And Tim, what he's referring to is the last 2 games, the first and second batters in the lineup in the first inning got on base. And in both games, Herrera was squaring to bunt. Yesterday, he did for a sacrifice. And he drills it into the corner in right field. Hoskins to third. And he'll be held up. It'll be a double for Herrera.
As you said last night after the home run, that is why they don't pay Herrera to bunt.
Get hit.
Lightning fast hits. Cardinals have seen that 4 times. 3 home runs or 2 home runs in the series, and this ringing double. It short hops the right field fence. So the Phillies with a chance to score here in the first.
Here's Carlos Santana, switch hitter, 11 home runs. Carpenter well off the line at third, outfield straightaway and deep.
Consideration given in a situation, even though it is the first inning, and you don't like to pitch around guys in the first inning, but this guy has been so hot since the 1st of May. Only Mike Trout with more extra base hits and walks than Santana over that period.
Mike Trout right now is the hottest hitter on the planet. And I mean in Little League. I don't care where you're looking at.
Oh my gosh.
It's unbelievable what he's been able to do. His next game will be, by the way, his 1,000th of his career. There's a fly ball lifted out to right. Fowler with the catch. Throw to the plate, not in time, and it's 1-0 Phillies. Trout, by the way, 16 for his last 23. 4 home runs, 9 RBI, 8 runs scored in 8 games over that span.
He's made 7 outs in his last 36 plate appearances.
Amazing.
It's just ridiculous.
Leads the American League in home runs. It's hard to believe this, but he might be having his best season ever.
That's true. Good point, Danny.
There's Scott Kingery with a runner at third. 1-0 our score. Popped up to the right side. Martinez shading from the sun. He can't find it. It's off the screen and in the seats.
Well, Martinez with no sunglasses, and wait a minute, he's borrowing a pair from Dexter Fowler.
That looks to be the case.
I'm sorry, you've got to think of those things before the inning starts. That's common sense for an infielder, outfielder.
So Fowler gives up his glasses to Martinez. The Phillies, by the way, have scored in every game in the first inning, so it's been catch up for the Cardinals really all series long. And the 0-1 pitch.
Yeah, the Phillies have scored 6 runs now in the first inning, scoring in every first inning of this series.
If you win, a fan base will always accept you. It seems to be the case more times than not. Right now, I think the jury's still out what they think about the new manager here in Philadelphia. Dave Kapler, with, as you talked about, really more of an analytic, sabermetric approach to managing. Charlie Manuel, beloved. Doug Peterson, the football coach, loved. Winning the Super Bowl.
World champions.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
There couldn't be more of a direct opposite to Charlie Manuel than Gabe Kapler.
Agreed. Opposite sides of the spectrum, no doubt. Line to Martinez, and with the glasses on, he makes the catch. Stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in and stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Come to Philly, you have to get the cheesesteaks.
Yes, sir.
And maybe, just maybe, the best are made right in this ballpark.
You know, you told me that. Jim Hayes brought us up one last night before the game, and
high drive into deep left, and this game is tied. Yadier Molina with a long home run. His 8th of the year, and it's 1-1.
Boy, if that's not a situation of an experienced hitter sitting on one pitch, wanting to launch it, got that pitch, and he did.
And Tim, another solo home run by the Cardinals in this series.
Amazing. That's the, what, 5th solo home run?
6 maybe.
6.
2 on
6. And a game winner last night in Matt Carpenter, and we said in the open it could have been a game winner in game 1 when Tommy Pham hit the solo shot to put the Cardinals ahead in the top of the 10th.
Well, Fowler looks at a strike, but prior to his at bat, the first 4 players swung at the first pitch. 4 out of the 5 for the Cardinals. So maybe the idea is to be aggressive early in counts against Arrieta. We'll see. A couple of former teammates here. Dexter Fowler, world champion with the Cubs in '16, along with Arrieta. And he pulls it to the right side. Diving stop Santana to Arrieta for the out. Nice play.
Is this team this good defensively on the infield?
Boy, they've been good this series.
They really have.
We were told coming in no, but they proved us wrong.
You know, Cesar Hernandez, one of the better second basemen all around in the game.
By the way, J.P. Crawford was hit by a pitch last night. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks.
Left hand broken.
Pedro Florimon, who we really liked in the series in St. Louis.
Yes, sir.
He's out currently. Here's Greg Garcia. Here was last night. And Weaver hit Crawford, and he can play all over the infield. That pitch a little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes. Jake Arrieta, by the way, when he was with Baltimore, Tim, 20 and 25. So 5 games below the 500 mark. He made 63 starts. Steve Clevenger was part of the deal. Steve Clevenger was a catcher with the Cubs. Not seeing a lot of time. So he goes to Chicago, and you combine that with Philadelphia. He's 73 and 36 in the National League.
Winning about 2 out of every 3 starts.
Right.
Or decisions. Seems like Greg Garcia is always hitting in a favorable count, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. I'm sure this past Father's Day, a special one for him, his first being a new dad. 3-2. And a strikeout of Garcia.
That's a changeup on a 3-2 count by Arrieta. Very unusual. He doesn't usually throw that pitch in fastball counts. Greg thought it was high. Could have been close. Did not get the call.
Umpire behind the plate, Corey Blazer. Gary Cedarstrom is at third. He's the crew chief. Here's Colton Wong. Game 1, big hit. A 2-out, 2-strike single in the 9th that tied the game. Mention it all the time. There's just something about getting to a 200 mark for a hitter. Get to that mark and don't look back. And right now he's at 194.
Players refer to that as hitting on the interstate when they're below 200. And that's not a good stretch of road for any hitter. It's
interesting. I mentioned that Arrieta from Farmington, fifth best winning percentage by a pitcher from the state of Missouri. Max Scherzer, #1 on that list, the St. Louis native. A chopper that's hit to short. Kingery makes the play. The Cardinals get a home run from Yadier Molina. His 8th of the year, 26 RBI, and that swing has tied it up. The Cards and Phils Day Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, Matt Carpenter was hitting 140 on May 15th. Since then, he's been on an absolute offensive binge. Carpenter had the homer in the 9th that won it last night, and a game-tying double as well. In 31 games since May 15th, Carpenter has hit .326 with 13 doubles, 9 homers, and 17 RBIs. Carpenter told me, "I've had ugly months before. I've never had one to start a season. When you do that, you put a target on yourself because the numbers look bad, real bad." He said, "I wasn't enjoying it, but at the same time, I never lost confidence in myself." Dan, right now, you can't get much hotter than Matt Carpenter is.
Well, I also noticed, Jim, and Nick Williams is at the plate on your pregame visit with Matt Carpenter. It wasn't a traditional interview from the interviewee and the interviewer, as, yeah, there it is. They didn't even know I was going to talk about this, but why is Matt Carpenter with his arm around you during the interview? I'm a little confused.
Well, Dan, to be totally factual about it, he insisted that to do an on-camera interview, he would have to have his arm around me. Now, why? I think there's a bonding process that happens when you're doing regional cable journalism. He had a nice night last night. We interviewed him on the field after the game, and that bond was there. That's all.
Just looked over at my partner, Tim McCarver, who's worked multiple World Series and All-Star games. He took his glasses off and just looks defeated, as if to say, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, I think that's because he's working with you, Dan.
Again, uncalled for, Jim. Cut his mic. There's a liner and a base hit into left. And you're not supposed to laugh at his jokes like that.
Yes, sir, folks. I have to stand between these two often.
Always good stuff with Jim Hayes.
It's just jokes, Danny.
I got you, Jimmy. Good stuff. Here's Michael Franco. But it did deserve, to be quite honest with you, Jim, it's the big leagues, man. You don't do that. You don't put your arm around each other.
If that's what Matt Carpenter wants to do, and you need to get an interview for pregame, Dan, you got to do it.
All right, then. Swinging bunt, tough play. Carpenter, and he makes it.
Boy, really good play right there.
We were talking on the way to the ballpark about this exact play. We're saying right now, You don't see hitting and running in the game, and you don't see various things. But Tim said, what I do see is the barehanded play.
The barehanded pickup, something that used to be extraordinary, and you'd see it once a week. Now you see 8 times a week. Guys work on that play. Guys with small hands work on that play, which is really remarkable, because when you feel the ball, it has to be in a throwing position. You don't have the glove to shift it to a throwing position with the index and the middle finger of the throwing hand. Really fine play by Matt.
Here's Alfaro. I didn't think there was any chance he was going to make that play. Mike Schmidt was tremendous at coming in on those types of balls on the turf. Scott Rowland. Both played here in Philly. Of course, Rowland in St. Louis as well.
Of course, Mike Schmidt played on artificial surface, and it's easier to do on the artificial surface because your hops are truer.
One ball, one strike. Been told by Brian Shapiro, our producer, that after this at bat we will have Tim McCarver's keys to the game, and we're going over our game film last night. You came up with these really late, about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. You were diving into it.
Had to be in a dream.
Well, however you come up with them, they are dandies. 1-2 the count. Runner at second is Nick Williams. And the pitcher, Jake Arrieta, is at the on-deck circle. Arrieta is batting ninth, so the traditional lineup with the pitcher batting ninth and the position players 1 through 8. That had not been the case in the first 2 games of the series. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Good changeup right there. First strikeout from Michael Wacha.
Are you ready to deliver your keys to the game after this replay?
I've been working on it, yes.
Tim McCarver's Toyota keys to the game.
2.5 minutes to work on these keys to the game.
You were working hard on them.
Here we go.
It's
run
more than
production.
normal.
Well, the Cardinals are finding out that run production can be fun. Now, obviously, they knew that, but they have really scored a lot of runs in the first 2 games of this season, of this series. Pardon me. And they need a big game out of Michael Wacha, who's trying to forget his last start. You talked about last Friday when he was lit up by the Cubs.
Arrieta, the owner of 6 career home runs. He's got 1 this year. How about Michael Wacha? Against the Cubs, he is 4-8 in his career. Against the rest of the league, 48-24. So for whatever reason, he has struggled against Chicago. And prior to last start, he had 10 consecutive starts, 2 earned runs or less.
I'll throw this at you. The reason for that is Michael Wacha has a tough time coming inside, and you got to pitch the Cub hitters inside. All of them for the better part. Baez, Chris Bryant, big first baseman for the Cubs.
Rizzo, Contreras.
Contreras, absolutely, good point. Michael has a tough time. Any team that thrives on inside pitching, or I should say likes the ball away, Michael has a tough time with.
And the 1-2 is lifted in the air to right center. Tommy Pham under it, and he makes the catch. Nice play by Carpenter. Mike Schmidt would approve. His statue just outside Citizens Bank Park. Croatia. Coverage begins at noon, and you can see it. It's the FIFA World Cup on Fox and FS1. Where we were talking about guys that had had success from the state of Missouri, and the top winning percentage, Max Scherzer, Mort Cooper, Carl Hubble, David Cohn from Kansas City, and then Arrieta from Farmington, 5th best winning percentage. I really believe Max Scherzer is a Hall of Fame pitcher. Now 11 years,
Even
over
if it
2,300
stopped
strikeouts. I'd like to see more longevity, maybe 3 or 4 more years, and then I think it's done.
Yeah, I said off camera that he needed 7, but I didn't realize until you looked it up that he'd won 151 games.
Real good shot to get over 3,000 strikeouts. Dominant in this era. The Cy Young Awards.
Made himself a different pitcher from his early days in Arizona, too.
Used to do a lot of his games, broadcast his games with the University of Missouri. And scouts were all over the place at those games, understandably so. He was a top draft choice, 1st-round pick. But some scouts really, they wanted to stay away from him because his motion to the plate was so violent, a lot of different moving parts.
And
but he's perfected it.
And his eyes were different colors, too.
They are different colors.
Still are. Yeah.
That's right. That's true.
I'm only kidding. I mean, his vision is not impaired in any way. He came up with that changeup, and that has helped him immensely.
He's 10-3 this year. Cy Young in both leagues. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2 on Michael Wacha. Four and 5 in the postseason. There's a strikeout of Michael Wacha. 3rd strikeout. Arrieta, normally a guy that gets a lot of ground balls. 4th best ground ball percentage in baseball this year, close to 60%. And now it's Matt Carpenter.
The pitcher who throws ground balls has taken his first step in keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Ground balls do not leave the ballpark, and that's my best work as an analyst this year. Carpenter 4 for 38, pair of home runs in his career against Arrieta, the 2 college teammates at TCU. Must be unique facing a former team and a buddy. And he rips it foul. Walked his first time up. You know it's a tough crowd when the ball girl gets booed on a screamer that most major leaguers wouldn't come up with.
Bob Uecker's line about Philadelphia. That in Philadelphia, it's the only town where they boo kids who can't find Easter eggs on Easter Sunday.
Well, they booed Santa, right?
Of course.
I mean, some people say no. I think it adds to it.
It's a little rough, though, with the children hunting for Easter eggs.
It's very rough. But Santa's
Ueck said also when the Phillies played in the old ballpark over at 21st and Lehigh, it was Connie Mack Stadium, that they would hold tire iron night every Wednesday.
Tire
iron night. Rough neighborhood, believe me. Where they gave away a free tire iron with every ticket purchase.
Carpenter has walked a couple of times, and it brings in Tommy Pham. Had a hard hit ground ball turned into a fielder's choice, and a diving stop down at third. And he sends this one into center. Herrera backing up. Catch is made, and Carpenter is back to the bag at first. So 2 outs here in the Cardinals half of the third. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Jose Martinez struck out back in the first inning. Mentioned it last night. Your teammate and roommate was Bob Uecker, and I can only imagine how much fun that might have been.
Relentless.
He probably made fun of himself too, and made fun of others. And,
yes.
But clean fun. Guys enjoyed it.
And the bus trips, so memorable. Classic stuff.
Oh, 1 is a soft liner foul.
Bob Uecker used to do 15 minutes on his time in the Army, and he'd do the gunshot when he was at the shooting range, the practice range. Here you'd hear a boom, and he had a great voice for a rifle that was fired down the line. He'd say, "Who fired that shot?" I mean, the whole thing was all made up in his mind, and it was one new thing after another for every bus trip. Guys used to love to get on the bus and listen to you conduct this.
How about his baseball card, where the photographer didn't realize that Bob was a catcher and also a right-handed batter, so Bob decides to take the picture left-handed with the bat, and he's smiling and laughing in the picture on the baseball card. His Hall of Fame speech was all ad lib, no papers.
Yes,
just went up and just did it. That is talent.
Funniest man I've ever met. Nobody else is in second place.
Every time he sees me, it'll happen tomorrow. It starts with, "Hello, Maxwell," and then he just starts into something else. It's hilarious.
Man who will be remembered with a smile.
Oh, yeah.
The first thing that'll come to everybody's mind when Bob Uecker leaves this world will be a smile, and that's a heck of a tribute to anybody.
You've told me in '64, Mantle and Maris and all these great names of the game are watching Bob Uecker in BP in the biggest event, sporting event of the world, the World Series.
Before game 1 of the World Series.
And he's out shagging fly balls with a tuba. And they're laughing. The opposition.
Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle enjoyed it more than anybody. I mean, roaring. And of course, our eyes were peeled on the two guys. Roger Maris playing center field in that series, and Mickey Mantle was shifted to right because of his knees, his osteomyelitis.
Hernandez, Hoskins, Herrera coming up. It's 1-1. schedule for the Cardinals continue. And that's continues tomorrow with Milwaukee, the first of 4 against the Brewers. And then Cleveland at home for interleague play, the off day. And then Atlanta, Arizona, San Francisco. So tough stretch of baseball for St. Louis. Budweiser, what's on tap? Here's Cesar Hernandez showing bunt and strike 1. Hernandez now 3 for 13 after his ground out back in the first against Michael Wacha. And the next time I will see you will be in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Checking those dates. That'll be Thursday, July 5th, the day after Independence Day. Cardinals, as is usually the case, will have 4 games to play in San Francisco.
Love that ballpark. I get asked all the time, the best ballpark to go to. I'm a fan. Where do I go? I always say, well, Cubs Cardinals at a Wrigley Field matchup is always exciting. Pittsburgh, a beautiful ballpark. But San Francisco, there's something about that place too.
City by the bay.
Three-two pitch by Wacha. And a grounder hit sharply to Colton Wong for the out. I love going to Fenway in interleague play. Used to really enjoy going to old Yankee Stadium and
yes, yeah, I agree.
All the history there.
Yeah. A ballpark made for left-handed batters. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, of course, a switch hitter. Remember Johnny Blanchard, who had over 20 home runs in 1961, a season where the Yankees hit 241 home runs. That was a record for a long time. And about midway through the season, Ralph Houck, the manager, went to Johnny Blanchard and said he was forced to trade him. Well, Johnny breaks out in tears and the whole bit. And Ralph said, "John, why are you crying?" He said, "This is a chance for you to play every day." And he said, "That's why I'm crying."
Really?
He didn't want to play every day. He wanted to hit in Yankee Stadium. He was a left-handed batter, of course.
Right.
As a part-time bench guy, he had over 20 home runs that year. He loved it. So Ralph said, "You'll have a chance to play." And John said, "That's why I'm crying."
Most guys are dying for the chance to play every day.
Yeah, not John.
I believe that starting tomorrow is our final time, our final visit with Milwaukee at their ballpark. And that's hard to believe. We've already been there twice. This will be the 3rd time.
I didn't realize that.
And that could be a
in
factor
June
in the second half of the season. We'll have to look it up, but could be the final time, I believe.
Yeah, particularly if you're playing somebody in your own division where you have to play them 3 times in their ballpark.
And you're thinking 2 teams that are competing for the Central Division that have a chance to win it. And the guys in the truck tell us it is the final time. That is really surprising to me.
Yeah.
But that benefits the Cardinals. Get it out of the way. Got to play them anyway. Games take on so much meaning, it seems like, in late August and September, obviously. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Cardinals will host Milwaukee in late August and again in late September. So those series in St. Louis. 3-2 the count on Rhys Hoskins, who had a broken bat soft liner into left for a base hit.
Owner of the Milwaukee Brewers, Mark Antanasio, has a baseball field named after him at Brown University.
That's pulled foul.
The reason I happen to know that is my grandson is making trips to different college campuses, and he told me that yesterday. I didn't realize that.
He is one bright young man. He
Yes,
put
he
us
is.
together, and he's brighter than the both of us, but I'm not sure that's saying much. Under the glove of Carpenter and into left field. 9-pitch at bat for Hoskins. He's 2 for 2.
When you think about that, he was jammed his first time up, and then a changeup away at reach across the plate, and rifles it by Matt Carpenter.
Herrera rifled a double into the corner in right field back in the first inning. It's interesting how the Cardinals have Jose Martinez. They've been trying to change this up with left-handed batters as helmet pops off the head of Herrera, but they want to get him more in a position off the line. And even though Hoskins is a threat to steal, he's got good speed, 3 stolen bases. Watch how Martinez, with his length, what they're trying to do when a left-handed batter is up. He's not at the bag. He's about a step or 2 off. But with his reach, he can still get back to the bag on a tag.
Yeah, he's making the base runner go behind him, too. That is a consideration also because of his height.
We've seen a number of balls that when a lefty's up and he's holding on have gotten by him
Yes.
or under the glove on a backhand. So
one last night.
Yeah, trying to fix that issue. And the 0-2 pitch. Herrera slaps it for a base hit into center. And he's 2 for 2.
That ball was actually off the plate away. It was a changeup, but it was on an 0-2 pitch. Probably too good a pitch by Michael. Sometimes you have to credit the hitter. That's a fine piece of hitting by Herrera.
Cardinals and Phillies have split their first 6 meetings of the year, barring postseason play. The final time they'll see each other. Here in the season finale on this Wednesday afternoon. Santana looks at a ball. He has a sac fly and an RBI back in the first inning. Two balls and no strikes. Low with a changeup, 3-0.
Big, strong left-handed batter, actually a switch hitter in an ideal hitting situation. Does not normally swing at 3-0 pitches. We'll see.
Inside, and now the bases are loaded. So on an 0-2 pitch, Herrera base hit into center, walk to Santana, bases loaded. Already 6 base runners that Walker's had to deal with in this game. Hoskins the single to left, Herrera to center, Santana the walk. The first walk issued by Michael, and now it's Scott Kingery. Kingery has grounded into 2 double plays this year. the owner of one Grand Slam in his major league career. First pitch is strike.
That's a problem when Michael needs a double play ball. It's very difficult for him to get it because he doesn't have a two-seam fastball to induce ground balls.
For those that don't know, four-seamer, two-seamer, four more straight. Two-seamer gets the sinking action.
Two-seamer is usually thrown down. A four-seamer is thrown from the belt up like that.
0-2 now.
High pitches are usually hit in the air. Low pitches are usually hit on the ground. Again, oversimplistic, but you get the idea.
The 0-2 pitch. The check swing did not go.
That was close, I thought.
Stu Sherwater, the first base umpire.
But he held up.
Then again, a nice play by Molina to keep that in front. The ability to bounce a ball with a runner at third, knowing that Molina is behind the plate. And the 1-2 pitch by Waka, pulled foul. Right by the Cardinals Hall of Famer Willie McGee. Everywhere we go, there's Cardinal fans around. Loudest ovation, the most autograph requests all go to number 51.
You will never find a more genuine human being in your life than Willie McGee.
We've always been talking about so many great things that he does off the field and as a coach, and you forget how tremendous of a player he was. Man, could he play.
Traded for Bob Sykes the middle of 1982.
Willie told me that it was Dave Ricketts, and he had an unorthodox approach, as many of us know. He'd swing at balls in the dirt or over his head, and then all of a sudden line a single somewhere on the next pitch. But Dave Ricketts told folks, the coaching staff, and Willie's taken BP, first got to St. Louis, he said, get away from him. Get away from him. Let him do his thing, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll work on it. But get away from him right now. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout for Michael Waka. Whoa, and Molina almost threw it into right field. Trying to pick off Santana at first base.
Trying to get an unusual double play. Strike him out, throw him out. Change up out of the strike zone, and a beauty. Molina comes up in front of Kingery as he's going back to the clubhouse and tries to pick off Santana at first base.
Now Nick Williams slowly hit towards short. Garcia with the play and a high throw, and Waka out of a bases loaded jam. Gets a strikeout, a ground out, and it stays 1-1. An all-inclusive experience, the Centennial Club remains the only way to guarantee a seat for the weekend rounds at the 100th PGA Championship milestone event at Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis, one of the finest clubs in the country. You can visit PGAchampionship.com for tickets. More info about the Centennial Club. Had the chance over the weekend to visit with Barry Deach, who is the PGA Championship director. That's a ball to Marcell Ozuna.
Big job, I would think.
Yeah, those directors actually come in. Barry is not from St. Louis, from the PGA, lives in Minnesota, and his job basically is a 2-year prep to come into St. Louis to get the course and get everything ready. The tickets, security, everything involved with it. So he lives for about 1.5 to 2 years in St. Louis, and then obviously the event will take place. And as it pertains to baseball, there's an outreach program with the PGA Championship, and they're getting Ozzie Smith involved. Ozzie very involved with the outreach program and trying to get youth to play the game and
it's nice.
Build up the game. And so you'll have more news on that probably before they tee it up at Belle Reve coming up in August. As a matter of fact, Barry, after St. Louis, then he relocates to San Francisco. A couple of years, the PGA Championship at Hardin Park. Hardin Park. 2-2 the count here on Marcell Ozuna.
Marcell, the player of the week last week, but 0 for 10 in his 3 games against the Phillies. They have made some pitches on him.
And he serves it to the right side, and a soft liner caught by Santana, playing well off the line at first base. Take a look at our Nissan drive of the game back in the 2nd inning. This home run by Molina is 8th of the year. That tied it up. It's 1-1. The Nissan drive of the game.
First pitch fastball.
Two guys that have been around for a long time, Arrieta and Molina. How did you, as a catcher, Tim, you know, with the various pitchers you had and seeing guys time and again in the league change over time, did you rather call to the strengths of the pitcher or try to say, hey?
Always.
Yeah.
No, you always call the strength of the pitcher. Pitcher makes a pitch. You stand a better chance of getting him out than if you're throwing to the weakness of a hitter.
So you're going with your guy.
Well, yeah. You bet.
The 1-2 jam shot, couple of hops to short. Kingery up with it, and that's out number 2.
Talk about getting back to basics when you're putting fingers down behind the plate. It's common sense. And you go over it before the game. You're prepared. That's part of your preparation. It's in sync. There's a rhythm to it. Mike Matheny knows that very well, being a former catcher and a good one of the best around at blocking balls in the dirt. Talk about a Spalding guy. Exceptional. Had to quit, however, because of concussion syndromes. It is a tough position. But putting fingers down is very, very important. What pitch to call? Again, that's part of the rhythm that goes on between a pitcher and a catcher.
1 ball, 1 strike on Fowler. Grounded to first base, 0 for 1.
Oh, what kind of swing was that? Dexter Looked like he was looking for something else. I think that was obvious. Kind of a hit down on the ball when it was over the plate. Totally fooled.
And the 2-2. Two and two the count. And a fly ball that's going to drop foul and out of play. Two balls and two strikes, 2 outs and nobody on. Cardinals, which has been the case in this series, not a lot of activity early in a game. They've got 1 hit and it's a home run. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4 for Jake Arrieta. Fourth, Michael Wacha and Jake Arrieta, and we check in with Jim Hayes.
Then I asked Mike Matheny about Michael Wacha's last start, which wasn't good, and if he saw anything specific that was of concern. Mike told me it was an aberration. He told me the first thing I told Michael after the game was, do not forget what you've done all season. Don't get all caught up in thinking too much about this start. It was nothing more than a blip on the radar. Dan Wacha pitching well. Apparently he's put that game behind him.
Nice play there by Carpenter to his left, and yeah, that was the idea. Just, you know, you've been so good for what's happening this year. Keep it going. Forget about Friday night.
Yeah, because of what Mike told Mike Matheny telling Michael Wacha, forget last Friday. That was one of our keys to the game today. Working in unison with Jim Hayes.
Here's Alfaro. Struck out his first time up. It's twice now that Franco has been put away by his counterpart down at third with a couple of nice plays by Carpenter.
Been picked.
Yep. And it's 0-2.
First coming in on the ball, barehanding the play, and then going quickly to his left. To get Franco.
Outfield straight away. Kind of no balls and 2 strikes. Backhanded by Carpenter on a fair ball. Flips to Martinez and off the bag.
I think with Alfaro running, Matt had more time than he thought. He thought he had to get rid of the ball quickly. Of course, it's a reaction play at third base. Throws it quickly, and Alfaro, not a fast runner. Probably be an infield hit, and now that sets things up if Gabe Kapler chooses to bunt with Arrieta, but it's an error.
It'll be the 5th on Carpenter. Runner at first, Jake Arrieta at the plate, and a slow roller foul. First pitch strikes on 13 of the 18 batters thus far. See if they want to put the bunt on here. Did not on the first pitch. Arrieta again can really swing the bat. Lifts a fly ball into shallow center. Saturday, June 30th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home the Tsunami Mystery Hair Bobblehead, courtesy of AT&T. There's the Tsunami right there. Carlos Martinez. Again, courtesy of AT&T. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. I know that you were not scheduled to work that series with me, but I'll make sure and get you a bobblehead. Put it on your mantle.
That'll be very nice. Thank you. Very thoughtful.
So 2 outs, and it brings in Hernandez. Good pitch. Had him way out in front. Here's a 0-1 pitch. And staying put will be Alfaro. You know, I've been working with the promotions department. I'm always giving them my 2 cents. Hey, I like this, I like that. And they say, and then they go on their merry way. However, Megan Eberhardt, who's just tremendous with our promotions, she's all about the Tim McCarver red scarf. Now, it's hot now, but it won't be later this year, hopefully in October for Cardinal fans, nor have we seen is it very warm in late March and early April, and that's when you need that Tim McCarver red scarf. Little cashmere, you look just beautiful. It's an opening day.
What are you talking about?
Well, you wore the red scarf.
Well, I mean, it was cold.
I mean, the way you wore it. I mean, it was a little outlandish.
Outlandish?
Yeah, it was. I'm going to be on the record. It was outlandish. However,
there's a certain way you tie a scarf. You've got to understand that, Dan. You're not a man of scarves.
I enjoy a scarf. However, I don't want to walk out of my house looking like the Red Baron. You pulled it off. I don't think I could.
You're cleaning it up now.
The truck says you look debonair. Here's a 1-2. Hit in the air out to deep right field. Fowler back near the wall, and it's gone. Hernandez with home run number 8, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, the ball's shooting out of this ballpark. That's normally the case. What happens when you get that changeup up? And a guy who waits like Hernandez did, he waited, quick hands, and hits his 8th home run of the year.
There's Rhys Hoskins with 2 outs and nobody on. So the air by Carpenter comes back to burn the Cardinals. Routine fly balls turn into home runs here.
Yep. It's always been the case since this park was built.
Yep.
It's not going to change.
The 2-0 pitch by Michael Wacha. Couple pitches in the dirt, one upstairs, and now maybe a little flustered after that home run. Hoskins 2 for 2 on the day.
I would imagine he's hitting here. A lot of managers will give hitters the option. If you want to hit, hit. You're the guy with the bat in your hands. You know more about the pitcher than I do.
Take it low and walk number 2. 2018 St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. Join the Cardinals and Edward Jones. We honor Harry Brackeen, Vince Coleman, Ray Langford at the 2018 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That'll be on August 18th. And it's open to the public. And now this is not good. This is going to turn into, it looks like, a medical visit.
Oh boy, didn't appear anything was wrong with the hands. Don't know whether it's the lower part of the body. And that oblique comes up so often with both hitters and pitchers. It's always a potential problem.
This is the last delivery. His day is through.
Wincing, but not showing any sign of where the injury is.
We'll see what direction the Cardinals want to go in here. Tuivailala running just to get warm and loose. Nobody had been throwing, obviously. We still have not seen the move that the Cardinals are about to make. So with 2 outs, Michael Wacha out of the game. It'll be Mike Myers, who was sensational 2 nights ago with 2 scoreless innings. So what we'll do is step aside. 3-1 Phillies, runner at first, 2 outs, walk out of the game, and let's hope everything is okay.
But you know what? How many pitchers take all the time they need?
Yeah, they usually
Rush it.
amp it up.
And you got to avoid that temptation of rushing things and saying, yeah, I'm ready. Otherwise, Dan, you end up on the shelf with the guy you're replacing.
Take a look at the usage of the relievers. And this is the last 5 games, so a lot of work. 21 2/3, 90 batters faced. Mike Myers in game 1 had 2 scoreless innings. Now in that game, he hit 100 at one point, and he was throwing much harder. When he said to Jim Hayes that he detected a mechanical flaw that got a little bit more velocity for him. And the other aspect too, I think, Tim, is that the Cardinals have gone to him and said, hey, air it out. You've got a good fastball. Let it go. Don't worry about being perfect. Let it go. That's something else to keep in mind.
Perfection for a guy like Mike comes in velocity, not location.
Well, while we have a moment, a reminder that if you want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute, get the StubHub app where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch. Sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, an official partner of your St. Louis Cardinals. With Tim McCarver, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes here as well as we wrap up the season series between the Cardinals and the Phils. Last night, the bullpen, 4 innings. Game 1, 4 2/3. Then over the weekend, used a bunch as well. 13 innings by the bullpen in the 3 games against Chicago. So it's been a bullpen that's been used a lot and called upon again here today. Here's Herrera, who is 2 for 2. A double into the corner in right and also a single to center. Right now, the concern for the Cardinals, certainly that of Michael Wacha.
Don't want to take a guy who's 8-2 on the season, any of your starters really, but one who's been as successful as Michael has been this year.
The wide open stance of Herrera. Right foot right on the chalk in the right side of the box. And the first pitch by Myers is a strike. Outfield is straight away. Inning started with a ground out by Franco, an error on the ground ball. Hit by Alfaro to Carpenter. Jake Arrieta fly to center. Then Hernandez, a 2-run homer, a walk on 4 pitches to Hoskins, and Wacha was done for the day. It's the second time this afternoon that the helmet has flown off the head of Odubel Herrera.
You know, things have changed in the game when you can't come inside to a guy like Herrera after a swing like this. You want to swing that hard? Swing at this. That's the way it was played 40 years ago, but it ain't 40 years ago. I understand that.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. And a fastball at 96 misses in. Off of Myers, slowly hit. Wong barehands, and what a play by Colton Wong.
And now is Mike Myers hurt. Looked like his right hand. And I think the Phillies may challenge that. Meanwhile, looking at Mike Myers, that ball hit him hard. It was hit like a rocket, a one hopper. Whew.
Now the medical team working with Myers as Kapler decides not to challenge. What a throw by Colton Wong. Really odd position to get to.
Excellent play.
101 miles per hour off the bat, and Wong a dandy.
Hats off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
It'll be Greg Garcia, Colton Wong, and Michael Wacha. We just had a wedding proposal on the video board here at the ballpark, and it's from an older gentleman. I would say he's probably 65, maybe 70 years old, and you would think at this age he'd wise up.
Now, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Just a mild admonishment. Slap of the hands.
And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Two and one. Arrieta now with a 2-run lead.
I don't think I've seen Arrieta throw that many intentional off-speed pitches behind in the count.
2-2.
2-0 changeup to Greg Garcia, the 7th-place hitter.
The 2-2 pitch and fouled back. Garcia struck out on a 3-2 pitch looking. Remember, it was, as we showed the replay, it was high and outside. He had actually flipped his bat to go to first base, thought he had a walk, and went back to the dugout. The 2-2. How about this little base hit off the bat of Greg Garcia, protecting. Takes a turn around first base. He'll stop there, and the tying run comes to the plate here in inning number 5.
That's one of those Billie Jean King's little lob against Bobby Riggs. And when was it? 71 at the early 70s.
The Astrodome.
Little flat at the Astrodome. Yeah. Battle of the sexes. No pictures in a box score.
Well, you were right, Tim. Per the Cardinals, it is a left oblique strain by Michael Wacha. Now, I'm going to give Wacha some credit here, not knowing when it popped up. But if it happened on the last pitch, you know, a lot of players in all sports try to play through it, and then it becomes a real issue.
Yeah.
So he may have gotten himself out of there before further damage. And so Mike Myers took over, and he's at the on-deck circle. And Wong lifts a fly ball down the left field line, and it's out of play.
You know, Reese Hoskins in left field, not because of that hit by Garcia, but with Wong hitting, he is much too deep. He could move in 5 feet and still be too deep.
And the 0-2 lifted in the air out to deep right center. Herrera is back on the track and makes the catch. Garcia back to the bag at first.
As a fan, you have every right to think, well, he hit it to the track in center field, but that's when he hits the ball with both arms. When you hit the ball the other way, you're hitting the ball for the most part with just your arms and not your body. And that's why in the off field, it's often better to play shallow than deep.
And the batter is Mike Myers. The line on Michael Wacha, 3 2/3. 3 runs on 6 hits, struck out 2 and walked 2, gave up a home run. Myers has 1 career plate appearance in the big leagues, and it was a walk.
And I guess Michael's right hand's okay. He was shaking it coming off after that Herrera hit by the hard ground ball.
Well, you think about it, Tim. I mean, relievers not asked to hit, much less bunt.
Oh, right.
So asking him to do something very uncomfortable, I'm sure, for him.
Yeah, and uncomfortable, and it's a rarity, as you point out properly. There's an innate fear in pitchers, most pitchers, particularly guys from the bullpen, when they square around and try to bunt from their counterpart. Get the bat out. One of the best descriptions of a bunt that I've ever heard, it's kind of clever, is you catch the ball with the bat. That allows the bunter to soften the ball.
And a strikeout of Myers. So that's 5 strikeouts for Arrieta. Brings in Carpenter, who has walked twice. Shift on the right side of the infield again for Carpenter. And the first pitch to him.
So far as Gabe Kapler, the Philly manager, the only Cardinal hitter that he's employed the shift on has been Carpenter.
We talked about it at the beginning of the game. Jake Arrieta, a few starts ago, not one to enjoy the shift behind him, even though the stats and numbers may tell him and Gabe Kapler and the infielders what you shift on this particular player, and he was unhappy about it. But the only one they've shifted against is Carpenter. Popped up, shallow left. Hoskins with the catch. Cardinals strand a runner. They've stranded 3 today. We're in Philly, and it's 3-1. Here in game 3 of the series. Well, you mentioned it, Tim. Mike Myers took a hard hit ball that was off his pitching hand. We'll see if that affects him at all here in this inning.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Maybe buffered by that glove, perhaps. But he was shaking that hand leaving the field.
Now Carlos Santana. First pitch, a strike. And we talked about it with Matt Bowman losing feeling in his fingers, and that's tough. Sometimes when a pitcher has that happen, goes back to them, it hits their hand, they're numb, lose feeling. If you don't have a grip on the baseball, boy, it's tough to be right in
you
this,
can't
at
apply
this
the
level.
You can't apply the pressure necessary to be a big league pitcher.
Pressure points on various grips.
Yeah.
Santana with a sac fly, RBI in the first, and he walked in the third. And now he strikes out to start the 5th. First strikeout for Mike Myers. Scott Kingery is 0 for 2, struck out and lined out. Cardinals have been out hit in this game 6-2, and they trail 3-1. We're in Milwaukee tomorrow. Carlos Martinez and Junior Guerra. Martinez 3-3. Still trying to get back on track after returning from the DL. Guerra 3-5, but an ERA that's under 3. Last time out, 5 innings against the Cubs, took a no decision.
He hadn't been right all year, though.
Walked 6 over the weekend.
That's the thing, the wildness issue. There are myriad issues with Carlos Martinez, which he has just got to straighten out.
One of his best starts of the year was against the Brewers. Missed a shutout by 2 outs. First start against Milwaukee back on the 4th of April. The 2-1. Slider 2-2. guy like Myers really could settle down the bullpen, give you another option to count on.
Sure.
The 2-2 pitch.
And when you feel it building, the confidence that comes because of that, it's such a vital. Mike Maddox knows that, but you can't talk to pitchers about confidence. What are you going to say? Got to be confident. Doesn't work like that. We all know that. But through success comes the confidence.
There it is again. 96 and a strikeout. So Myers has faced 3 and gotten 3 outs.
Good to see him get the types of outs he has here in the 5th inning. Blew the ball by Santana and blew the ball by Kingery. So from a health standpoint, he's fine.
And a strike. Nick Williams, a base hit to left and then grounded out with the bases loaded. Aggressive with his fastball.
That also is a result of confidence. You're not trying to be too fine out there. You use the fatter part of the plate. You don't think you have to nibble on the corner all the time. 0-2, yes, of course.
Williams was in right field game 1 on a double that was hit by Carpenter off the wall that came down, hit off his nose, bleeding profusely, had to leave the ball game, and then Aaron Altair, his replacement, had the game-winning hit. And Mike Myers strikes out the side here in inning number 5. Santana, Kingery, and Williams, 4, 5, and 6 in the lineup go down. The first pitch, both times up, he's 0 for 2. He's a part of our GMC leaderboard, longest current hit streaks in baseball, fam, with 13. And that's a look at your GMC leaderboard. This is where the Cardinals, at least recently, have been doing a lot of damage. 6th inning on. 18 runs from the 6th inning on the last 5 games. And a strike to Pham. Pham, Martinez, Ozuna for the Cardinals. Two hops to short. Kingery up with it. And Tommy is 0 for 3.
No, you cannot direct the ball, but you can use the barrel of the bat to make contact. And Pham has done that twice today. He was picked by Franco at 3rd, now hits a bullet to Scott Kingery at shortstop. So 0 for 3, but for the most part, it's been a hard 0 for 3.
It was 107 miles per hour off the bat. So barreled it up. Martinez 0 for 2 with a strikeout and also grounded back to Jake Arrieta. Lions one foul and out of play. Cardinals with 2 hits. Home run by Molina in the second and a leadoff little bloop single by Garcia to left field in the 5th, and that has been it. High chopper hit up the middle, backhanded, and out. Nice play by Cesar Hernandez.
Boy, that's a dandy right there. Threw the ball underhanded. He was actually by the bag. The first base bag. Had to throw back across his body. We talked about Arrieta doing that. Look at that play, though. That's a startling play.
Brett Cecil getting loose in the Cardinals pen. Here's Marcell Ozuna.
What?
Grounded to second and has lined out. There's strike 1. Pitch count at 83 for Arrieta. He's due up 3rd in the bottom of the 6th. Ozuna with a base hit into center. And again, the tying run comes to the plate.
One of the few fastballs down the middle of the plate by Arrieta. For the most part, he's been the guy who's relied on guile today. I think more than any other time we've seen him, Dan.
Yep.
Little change up here. Little take a little off. Try to get him to bite out of the strike zone. One of the few fastballs in the middle of the plate.
Everything hard usually from Arrieta.
Yeah.
That's to the backstop. So Ozuna now in scoring position on a wild pitch. And the 1-0 to Yadier Molina. 1 ball, 1 strike. Molina's home run back in the 2nd inning. First pitch, number 8 of the year, and he's driven in 26. The 1-1. Here's a chance for Yadi to make it a 3-2 game, maybe tied up with another long ball. Hitters count 2 balls and 1 strike. Big gap in left center. Ozuna the runner at second base. Little dribbler foul. 2-2, just missed, 3-2. Dexter Fowler is on deck. Makes you wonder if Molina gets a pitch to even hit here with first base open, and would you rather deal with Fowler?
That's certainly a point.
Arrieta to Yadier Molina. Molina hits a high fly ball into deep right field. It's at the wall. Gone! Second home run of the day for Yadier Molina, and this game is tied.
I'll tell you, partner, that was a great call because I thought that was an out to the right fielder. I cannot believe that ball got out of the ballpark. But welcome to Philadelphia one more time. Molina's driven in all three with home runs number 9 and number 8 and 9.
And finally a home run with a man on base. A 2-out, 2-run, 2-strike home run. So Molina is driven in all three. Here's Dexter Fowler. Mentioned it how the Cardinals have been doing their damage late, and they've done it again. And Fowler lifts a fly ball out to shallow center. Herrera with the catch. Yadier Molina, solo home run back in the second inning. Moments ago, this 2-run opposite field home run. His second of the day. Arrieta can't believe it. Game in his career. He's tied it up. It's 3-3. Brett Cecil into the ball game, and let's check in with Jim. Jimmy, as Cecil continues to throw, we got time to get an injury update. Let's start with Paul DeJong, and then I'll run through a list of some of the relievers. But where's Paul DeJong right now?
Oh, we're going to need some time for this, Dan. But Michael Gersh told me Paul DeJong is going through his baseball progression, which is a way of saying he's doing the whole gamut of baseball activities. The only thing he hasn't done is to try to hit live pitching and face a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Gersh told me that's the final step. He said he'll have a doctor's appointment late next week. Hopefully from there, they'll get an idea of when he can go out on a rehab assignment. That's the story on DeJong, Dan.
There's Michael Franco. Stay with us here, Jimmy. Franco, this series 1 for 8, 6 groundouts to third. So Matt Carpenter B heads up. Let's talk a little bit about Tyler Lyons. Where is he at?
He's got the elbow issue. He is just now starting to play catch, according to Michael Gersh. They're hoping to get him out on a rehab assignment over the next week or two, so he's a little ways away.
Luke Gregerson trying to come back from knee surgery.
Yeah, he's got a shoulder and a knee issue. Apparently the shoulder is doing well. He's scheduled to throw a bullpen over the next couple of days. They're hoping to send him out on a rehab sometime soon.
We haven't talked about him in a while, but Dominic Leone.
Yeah, he's dealing with a nerve issue, and Michael Gersh told me that Leone has to go through a strength program for his arm. He has to complete that before he can even think about throwing, so he's a ways off.
And a fan favorite, and Adam Wainwright.
Waino had that injection about 10 days ago, so as it's described to me, he's in a quiet period, not doing much for the next couple of weeks while that injection takes effect.
All right, Jimmy, good stuff.
Thank you, Dan.
Like Jimmy in a pre-med course here, crying out loud.
He's all over it, isn't he, though?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You're not going to get much by him.
Nope. That's what Brett Cecil hopes to do. Get something by Franco.
And a fly ball lifted to left. Ozuna coming in to make the catch. So it's our Chevy call to the pen. Brett Cecil, ERA of 6 in his 14 games. It's been a while since we've seen him. Really good work by Mike Myers. Came in after Michael Wacha had to leave the ball game with an oblique issue. We'll get more on that in the post-game show. And Mike Myers goes an inning and a third and strikes out 3 and no hits allowed. Very well done.
Looks like that's it for Jake Arrieta, too. Altair on deck.
Here's Alfaro.
Aaron Altair, who started one of the 3 games, and he also relieved Nick Williams the other night, and as you so eloquently put it, ended up hitting the game-winning hit to tie and win the game for the Phillies in the bottom of the 10th.
It's been kind of a wild series, hasn't it?
It has. Almost all the games have been similar.
Late inning heroics.
Yeah.
Both sides. Two and 1 the count. Alfaro struck out in the second, reached on an error by Carpenter in the fourth, and scored on the 2-run homer by Hernandez. Two and 2. Phillies start play today in the East. Third place, game back of Washington. The Nats 3.5 back of Atlanta. And after just a tremendous start by the Mets, they're now 31 and 39.
Gee.
Talk of trading some of their big pieces, reloading. That's hit down the right field line, and that ball is off the wall. Alfaro is in with a stand-up double. That ball almost left too.
That was a real hanger from Brett Cecil, a hanging breaking ball up and away. Alfaro very strong. What to do is take a look at him. Breaking ball hit, almost out of here.
Aaron Altair, they have a 4-man bench, will be the pinch hitter.
I don't think there are any signs right now about pitching around this guy. He's a pinch hitter, #1. The best clutch hitter, arguably, in the Phillies lineup may be on deck. And Cesar Hernandez, even though he's a leadoff batter. I don't think you pitch around Altair by any means. Think about how tough it is to hit coming off the bench.
Three for 12 this year as a pinch hitter. He's grounded into 9 double plays. And at this spot with a man at second, he's trying to do some damage. And the 1-1 hit out of play again.
It's usually a trade of a guy coming off the bench. When he fouls the ball off, he fouls it off the other way. You don't see guys coming off the bench and hitting, you know, to the pull side, hitting rockets down the left field line in Altair's case. Just a generality.
Yeah, for sure. And a swing and a miss. So strikeout for Cecil.
Brett Cecil coming back to get Altair. Gets him on a bad ball. And for the most part, that's who Brett Cecil is right now. If he lives in the strike zone, if he can't get guys to swing at the ball in the out of the strike zone, he's limited.
Now the lefty Austin Davis has been throwing in the pen. And if he comes in, that would be a major league debut.
A little tough to put a guy in a major league debut in a 3-3 game in the 7th, but it's the nature of the game in this day and age.
Tuivailala throwing.
I think that's a good thing too, Dan. I mean, if he's up here, put him in. Otherwise, don't call him up.
Got Hernandez here from this side of the plate. No home runs. From the left side, he picked up his 8th of the season back in the 4th inning. Switch hitter.
Much better average hitter right-handed too.
293 on the year. So the day for Jake Arrieta through. Back to the top of the lineup. Hernandez. Strike one. Oh, 1 pitch.
This is a tough guy to pitch around because he's not a guy who swings at a lot of bad balls. Got one of the better eyes in the game.
And that's pulled foul. The line on Arrieta, 6 innings, 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 2, gave up a pair of home runs to Yadier Molina. Here's a 1-2, taken high, and it's 2-2.
Got to be thinking, if you're Hernandez, what he's going to do. Probably a breaking ball out of the strike zone down. No.
Struck him
wow.
out.
What a call by Molina. To Yadi's credit, fastball inside, buckles up Hernandez.
And we are in the top of the 7th. It's a major league debut for Austin Davis, 25-year-old out of Arizona, 12th round pick in 14. And so developed by the Phillies, and here he is in the big leagues. And a day and a moment that he'll never forget. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
Best advice you can give a young man in late June who is out there with his pitching debut is take a deep breath and throw strikes.
Throw strikes. The Cardinals have hit 8 home runs in this series. 2 more today by Yadier Molina. And that was the first of the 8 that had a runner on.
If you're a hitter situation, major league debut, make him throw a strike. If you're Greg Garcia.
A ball and a strike. Garcia start at shortstop today. He is struck out and also singled to left. Greg Garcia told me about his debut. He couldn't feel his feet.
Really?
He said he walked and he doesn't remember anything about it. Now he slaps that as a base hit into left center, and he'll stop there. He said, walking down to first, I could not feel my feet. You get the point. It's a pretty exciting moment.
Sure.
So the go-ahead run is aboard, and now Colton Wong. Harrison Bader at the on-deck circle.
Lefty on lefty with Garcia, letting him hit, of course, nobody on, but I would imagine Wong up there to bunt.
Drops down a bunt and a foul ball. This is where the pressure really could be on the defense because of the speed of Wong, and he's a good bunter anyway.
Well, it depends on where he bunts it. If he bunts it to third, Franco's all over him. If he bunts it to first, Santana's got to hold the runner on. That's ideally where you'd want to bunt the ball, but it's tougher to bunt to first as a left-hander than it is to third.
And a strike. 0-2. Hit the other way and out of play.
It was a left-hander. The other left-hander the Phillies have in the bullpen, Adam Morgan, who on Monday night allowed the base hit by Wong to drive in 2 to tie it in the ninth.
The 0-2. Wong is grounded to short, fly to center. And he waves at it, strikes out. Let's take a look at the Kubota power stats. Cardinals clutch home run hitting this season. The National League ranks the total home runs. Look what they've done. 7th inning or later, close and late situations, 1-run games, extra innings. That's some exciting baseball there.
Yeah.
So with Bader announced as the pinch hitter, Gabe Kapler will go back to his bullpen after the major league debut from Austin Davis. Adubre Ramos will be the new pitcher when we come back. lights out. First in ERA among relievers, .68. If you go back to last year, a .78 ERA in his last 47 appearances.
It's strong.
Tough test here for Bader.
Throws a lot of breaking balls, does Ramos.
Outfield is straight away. And the 0-1 pitch. There's another one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you're Greg Garcia at first base, you're thinking third. Any hit to the outfield, think third and be stopped at second. In other words, if there's any chance to get to third, you got a tie game, 1 out. If there's any chance, take it. Greg knows that.
Bader is 2 for 13 as a pinch hitter this year. And he's pinch hitting for Cecil. Nice job by Brett Cecil with a scoreless inning. The 2-1 pitch. Fouled back. He got a fastball that time.
He got a pitch to hit too, Danny. Just a slight difference in a foul ball straight back and a base hit.
The 2-2 pitch. Do you think about starting the runner here?
I would. But we've seen it too many times that in situations like this, the Cardinals do not run.
Bader with 38 strikeouts this year and 133 at bats.
Yeah, that's some consideration too.
Garcia not running, and the pitch is swung on, and a strikeout of Bader. Here's Carpenter. Shift on again for Carpenter. 2 walks and a fly out to left. Ball 1. Joey Valala continues to throw in the Cardinals pen. Michael Wacha 3 2/3 left after the oblique issue. Mike Myers inning and a third. Scoreless 6th inning by Cecil. The 1-0 gets away. Garcia to second base. The go-ahead run in scoring position.
Alfaro actually caught that ball.
Sure did.
It's got to be a pass ball.
And it is.
No, he did not catch it. I beg your pardon. Certainly should have. That ball is not in the dirt. One thing you try to prevent is being lazy with your hands behind the plate.
Two and 1. Tommy Pham on deck. Seventh inning later, game 1, 4 runs scored. Game 2, 5 of them, and Carpenter right in the middle of it. Big gap in right center. And now the intentional pass of Carpenter. Third time that he's walked today.
Choose your poison with Pham coming up.
Yep. Get the feeling, though, this breaking ball against a right-handed batter would be very tough.
Much better, much tougher. Right.
Tommy Pham, a couple of home runs in this series. It's a third intentional walk issued to Carpenter this year, and he's now up to 38 total this season.
Why the meeting on the mound right now? What does that mean?
Pham up to
Call
12.
call me old-fashioned, but I mean, come on. What's the meeting about? You don't have a meeting with a left-hander like Carpenter up there. You end up walking him intentionally. And now you're going to have a meeting because a right-hander's up there? I don't get it.
Most strikeouts in a 3-game span for the Cardinals, 41. That was done, by the way, by the Phillies in 1997. This series, the Cardinals have struck out 37 times. Runners at first and second. Here's Tommy Pham. Ball one. Hit the ball hard a couple of times today.
One to third, one to short.
There's that breaking ball pulled back in by Alfaro. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rios has a lot of confidence in that breaking ball, you can tell, particularly to right-handed batters. It's kind of like that's Ramos's fastball.
Can locate it.
His breaking ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels more comfortable throwing that pitch than any other.
The 1-1. 1 and 2. You got to think the breaking ball's coming here on 1 and 2.
Yeah. You don't want to get beat or have the Cardinals go ahead on something other than your best pitch.
The next to Tommy Pham with runners at first and second. Got him. Cardinals strand a pair. They have left 5 on today. It's time to stretch. Tie ball game 3-3. By Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, guardians of childhood. It's the back of the building of the Philadelphia Museum of Arts. Here's Sam Tuivailala. Rhys Hoskins, Odubel Herrera, and Carlos Santana. Waka 3 2/3. Myers inning and a third. Cecil 1 inning, and now Tuivailala. The 11 games since he came off the DL, Hoskins hitting .366. On base 3 times today with 2 singles, runs scored, and a walk. Fastball and a good one at 97. 2-2.
Good velocity and good location. That ball low and away to Hoskins.
And a swing and a miss. Strikeout of Hoskins to start the inning for Tuivailala. Peanuts Night returns to Busch Stadium Wednesday, June 27th. Purchase of a special theme ticket. Fans receive an exclusive Cardinals themed Snoopy bobblehead. Tickets now at cardinals.com/theme. There's a look at that bobblehead. Herrera 2 hits. Also had that hard hit ball off the hand of Myers, but he stayed in the game back in the 4th. First pitch is taken for a ball. Doubled into the corner and right. Also a single to center. 2 for 3 today.
That looked like a cutter from Sam. I don't know. I don't know whether it was a breaking ball or a cutter. You think it was a breaking ball?
But going to that a little bit more.
Okay.
Here's a 1-1.
Certainly an improved curveball over the last year.
He's messed with a lot, the cutter, in the past. Certainly looked like one. Slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. And the 2-1 pitch to Herrera. Hits it a ton out to right. And the Phillies, with that home run, go back on top. He's now a triple away from the cycle.
Yeah, he is on fire. Got all of that one, no question.
Strike one on Santana. Guerrero now with 10 go-ahead RBI this year. He had a total of 6 a season ago. That's his 4th home run in his last 7 games. And the top of this lineup for the Phillies, a lot of damage. The top 3 hitters, 6 for 11, a walk, 3 runs scored, and they've driven in 3.
Almost a total offense.
Yep. One and two.
Good curveball there.
And that's lifted to right, but to Fowler. Santana is out number 2. It's just the 2nd home run given up by Tuivailala. Here's Scott Kingery. 0 for 3 with a line out and 2 strikeouts. There's ball 1. Cardinals have the heart of their lineup coming up. Martinez, Ozuna, and Molina, who has homered twice today. From the seat of his pants, but he can't make the play on a hard hit ball. Garcia. But that was odd looking.
I don't know about you, Dan. I thought he caught the ball on the line initially.
Initially I did, and then obviously with him trying to complete the play made me think, well,
he did.
It's no catch.
This ball hit very, very hard.
Oh, he dropped it.
So he did make the play and then dropped it. Or maybe not clean enough. Kingery a threat to run. He has 5 stolen bases in 6 tries.
Ball may have been knuckling on him.
Yeah,
really hard hit.
Sure.
Now Nick Williams with 2 outs. Base hit to left, grounded out to short with the bases loaded, and he also struck out back in inning number 5. 1 for 3. Diving stop by Carpenter, quickly to first, and the tag applied by Martinez, and he may be hurt.
I don't know if you remember the play years ago for you younger fans out there. Almost the poster child for this type play when Cliff Floyd got in the way of a throw from a shortstop in Montreal, and it almost ended his career. But this could be a very dangerous play. The runner running into the left arm of Jose Martinez. It's a play where you really have to give with the runner, kind of follow the tag along with the runner. Chris Coughlin out there. Can't tell whether Jose is all right or not.
The home run hit by Herrera. And going back to the clubhouse, Chris Conroy, part of the medical team of the Cardinals with Jose Martinez. Here's the apparent injury to Jose, who, by the way, was getting his gear on to hit, so that may have been a good sign. And then they went over, it's Chris Conroy there with Jose, and they talked about it, obviously, and then lifted him from the game. So he will not hit, or will he? Yes, he will. So he went down past the cameras and into the tunnel with Chris Conroy, and then he comes back out, and that's a good sign. Obviously, he's going to hit.
Yes, sir.
Ramos still in the game as we play here in the top of the 8th. And ball 1. Martinez is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, couple of groundouts. The 1-0.
Good pitch to hit and a good swing by Martinez.
That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah,
you know, making sure he's all right. One ball and one strike.
Chris Conroy and the other trainers leading the league in icing down today.
Yeah,
my gosh. And to Milwaukee.
Martinez with a little flare out to shallow right and a base hit. Stays in the game. And as he's running, his left arm kind of hanging down.
Yeah, I noticed that.
What if the Cardinals want to get him out right now?
Now, then you could put
Carpenter at first and Jerko at third.
Yeah, but you waste Jerko as a hitter if you do that.
Now you could use a pitcher.
And I hate to do that unless you have to. That's why Mike Matheny is using Martinez to run for himself.
Here's Marcell Ozuna.
Has not had a hit in this series, and what a good time to get your first one. 0 for 12.
And the 1-0 pitch.
I beg your pardon. He did single his last time up for his first hit of the series. So a good time to get his second hit.
And the 1-1 pitch.
Ooh, that was hittable.
He's had a couple in this at bat that break is not quite as sharp with his very good curveball. Watch this. And the 1-2 pitch to Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna with a fly ball into right. Lights now on here at the ballpark. Catch is made by Nick Williams. Brings in Molina. He has our Budweiser plays of the game. This home run to left. Solo shot back in the second. And then a 2-run homer in the 6th. The Budweiser plays of the game. That's been the offense for the Cardinals today. They have 6 hits with Molina's 2 home runs. He has never experienced a 3 home run day. And the 0-1 pitch. He's had 2 healthy cuts in this at bat.
That was a hittable ball, just like that breaking ball hanger to Ozuna.
That is considered right there a mound visit, with Hernandez coming in. Nothing at 2 the count on Yadier Molina. Runner at first is Jose Martinez. Cardinals trailing by 1 here in the top of the 8th. And now he's hit by the pitch. The tying run in scoring position.
I'll tell you, Danny, I got to question pitch selection there. I mean, we talked about a guy with clearly a better breaking ball and fastball, and now he comes back and hits Molina with a fastball. Hit it right on the pad above his left elbow. That moves the potential tying run into second base, and what a time for Dexter Fowler.
2 on, 1 out, and a ball. You could say that again. A guy that has obviously been struggling. Second start in a row in this series. Needs something positive to happen. One ball, 1 strike. Pitch count up to 27, working in his second inning. He's not been nearly as sharp as he was in the first inning. Came in to face Bader, struck him out. Intentional walk of Carpenter, struck out Pham to end the threat in the 7th. Leadoff base hit by Martinez to right this inning. Fly out by Ozuna. Molina hit by a pitch. The 1-1. And Fowler pops it up. On the infield, Franco. Infield fly called. And the batter is Greg Garcia. Garcia with 2 hits today. 2 for 3, starting at shortstop. Gabe Kapler really pushing Ramos here. He's had 1 outing that's gone more than 30 pitches. This will be his 30th. That was back on April 15th at Tampa Bay. He had 39 pitches. And the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hector Neris, their closer to start the year, was sent down to AAA. Right now it's a state of flux, really, the back end of this bullpen for the Phils.
They have some good choices, however. Dominguez, Ramos.
The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
That appeared to be a splitter. Some kind. Some off-speed pitch.
The 2-1 pitch. High chopper to short. Across the diamond goes Kingery, and the Cardinals strand a pair. The authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. We saw the return of Greg Holland last night. Very good outing. And you would like to think something to build upon. So back-to-back games. Fourth pitcher used out of the bullpen, 5th overall for the Cardinals today. And the first pitch is tapped foul by Michael Franco. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, and they have been a difference maker today for the most part. The bullpen 3 1/3. One blemish, the home run hit by Herrera back in the 7th. That was off of Sam Tuivailala. And the 0-1 pitch to Franco.
You know, Dan, the bullpens in baseball, period, over the whole sport is so vital now. You're just simply not going to win without a good bullpen. And I don't mean just a closer or a setup guy.
You don't see starters go nearly as deep as they once did. And
no.
Analytics will tell you about certain pitchers after 100 pitches or what you do third time through. All those things come into play. And Holland gets a strikeout. This is encouraging.
It really is. Dropping breaking ball out of the strike zone.
I wonder if you went to Greg Holland and you're a pitcher and you're a free agent to be, and you wanted the honesty of a player, you know, a guy that's in your fraternity. You said, look, if I hold out for my best deal and I miss spring training, is it worth it? I wonder what his answer would be, because clearly he was not ready.
Clearly. That's a very interesting question, and I think very valid.
And I also wonder, because others got off to slow starts. Lance Lynn comes to mind. There's a few others too, but if they would say, I'm not sure it's worth it. You know,
is it worth it not being ready? And you're not going to be as ready if you work out on your own as you are
exactly
under a scheduled spring training.
Under the eyes of other pros.
Of course. Yeah. Valid.
Because his stuff last night, and at least initially here, is completely different.
He looks like Greg Holland.
Right.
He doesn't look like somebody who resembles his past self.
And I could be wrong about this. I also think he looks in better shape since he's come back off the DL.
Maybe.
Has not pitched in back-to-back days since May 5th and 6th against Chicago. And you're right, and count me as one of them. It was right before the first pitch against the Mets. The Cardinals made the announcement they had come to a one-year agreement with Holland. I thought, boy, oh boy, this bullpen.
Yeah.
Man. It's got a
Because,
chance
and the
to be
reason
elite.
for that is you expect to see the Greg Holland that you've seen in past years, but Cardinal fans haven't done that yet.
Here's a 1-2 pitch and a ground ball to short, backhanded by Garcia, and he makes the play for out number 2. Beat the summer heat Sunday, July 1st. That day, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home an adult bucket hat courtesy of Coca-Cola, and the kids 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive a kids bucket hat courtesy of Powerade. Protection for the entire family. Cool off with a free Prairie Farms ice cream day as well. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. This is Mitch Walding. Came up after Crawford was hit by a pitch and had the broken bone in the hand and out 4 to 6 weeks. So Walding gets the call up. 2 outs and nobody on. We're seeing more swings and misses. We're seeing a Holland around the zone, better break.
Yeah, last night, tonight, totally different. It's been a, not that obviously he was trying to, it's been an imposter for Greg Holland.
Yeah.
In a Cardinal uniform with Holland's name on the back. No imposter last night and today, I'll tell you.
The variation of the slider, different speeds. You'll see it dip more at times. Almost looks like a curveball. Then pitch up, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals have 4 infielders, 4 on the right side.
On a guy who was just called up.
Boy, I don't know, Tim. I got to drop down a bunt.
Well, not now with 2 strikes, but
then
up to then.
Right. All you have to do is push the ball, and I say all you have to do. I
Might
realize
get a
there's skill
double
to
out of it.
You could.
Yeah, if you push it hard enough to end up in shallow left.
He has a total of 6 career at bats, and the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. And the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Another scoreless inning for Greg Holland. Keeps it a 1-run Phillies lead. We head to the 9th. in his career on to try to nail this down. His numbers on the year: 21 games. He did pitch in game 1 of the series. Pitched Monday, 2/3 of an inning, couple of hits and 2 runs. And remember, he actually struck out the side in the game on Friday night. Struck out Jairo Munoz, which would have been the game-ending strikeout. And a ball that got away the night that the Cardinals struck out 19 times, extended the ball game, and then Wong had the big 2-out hit with 2 strikes to drive in a run and tie it up. Pham would put the Cardinals on top, and then they'd lose it in the 10th. Wong is hitless today. The 1-1. In the air to shallow center. Herrera wants it. He's got it.
Yeah, Rano in that game had 3 strikeouts in an inning and then left with 2 out in the inning. Go figure.
Strikeout 3. You should be out of the inning.
Should be out of the inning, yeah.
There's Jed Jerko. One ball and 1 strike. Matt Carpenter is on deck. And the 1-1. Jerko pops it back in foul. Just below us. One and 2 the count.
Ooh, I know. Jed would like that one back.
Two and 2. Alfaro thought they had strike 3. He was ready to throw it around the horn. He pulled it up about a half a foot.
Yeah.
The 2-2 lifted in the air. Left center. And that ball is down after the diving attempt by Herrera. And Jerko has himself a 1-out double. Boy, Herrera almost came up with an unbelievable play in left center.
Well, we talked about it last night about the route that Herrera took on a fly ball that he caught in left center field. This was not a similar route, but it was close. This ball up, hit a ton. Watch the route that Herrera does, and similar to last night. Good play by Hoskins backing up. Otherwise, it's a triple.
Munoz is going to pinch run. Gabe Kapler is going to take out Arano with Carpenter coming up. So he wants, it looks like a lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Got to be Adam Morgan.
Yep,
he's the only other left-hander. Yeah.
So Morgan coming in to face Carpenter. 4-3 our score. And now Adam Morgan or Chevy called to the pen, the lefty to face Matt Carpenter. Carpenter put the Cardinals on top in the top of the 9th last night. And now a chance to do some damage again in a 1-run game. Tying run at second base. That's Munoz, the pinch runner for Jerko. Matt with 3 walks today, and he also flied out to left. And there's strike 1.
Adam Morgan was in the game the other night when Colton Wong had the base hit up the middle to drive in 2 to tie it in the 9th. Cardinals trying desperately to win that game. They got the home run from Pham to put them up 5-4. And then, as everybody knows, it's history. Philly scored 2 in the bottom of the 10th and won it.
One ball, 1 strike.
Infielders are reminded to play a step or 2 deeper in this situation. So if they can't make the play on Carpenter, they can at least knock it down and hold Munoz to third base.
Saw Kingery do that the other night.
Yeah, right.
Yaxel Rios getting loose in the pen. So it might be Morgan to face Carpenter and then Rios to face Pham. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Day in which the Cardinals have 2 home runs from Yadier Molina. They trail 4-3. Carpenter pops it up left side, looks to be playable, and it is. Franco with the catch. And the Cardinals down to their final out. The batter is Tommy Pham. Does Gabe Kapler go back to his pen?
Oh, I think so. Don't you?
I do, and then I looked down in the dugout. He pointed at Adam Morgan and pumped his fist in the air as if to say, hey, this is yours. Morgan, no saves in his career.
And what is Rios doing up in the bullpen and ready? Weird.
Tommy Pham. Pham against lefties, 298, couple of home runs. A base hit could tie it. The 0-1. 0-2. Pham grounds it to short, bobbled, and the play is made. Boy, Munoz did everything he could to distract that play.
Yeah, he did. Kingery bobbled the ball and it came right back to him instead of falling at his feet.
So the Cardinals start the road trip, really hard-fought series, tight games, and they drop 2 of 3. It's off to Milwaukee. And it's also off to the post-game show. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live comes your way next.